There's always something broken. Always something broken. Anyway, welcome in. Twitch did goofy things. Other people doing goofy things. Everything's doing goofy things. It's just goofy day. Yeah. Yeah. Twitch, man. We're going to acknowledge you went live, but we're not going to acknowledge... Twitch. We're going to acknowledge you went live, but we're not going to acknowledge that you're actually sending us data, even though we said you were. Sounds like Twitch. Anyway, welcome in. It's a Saturday morning. It's a Saturday morning. There we go. Something restarted. Don't know what. Combined that with my computer deciding that apparently today was a great day to just completely reset everything with my sound. For no reason. You know. Yeah. Anyway, working towards more stuff with Terraria. Because I'm not going ranged anymore. I'm not going guns and bows. I'm going rogue. Because I get a stealth meter that way. And there's all sorts of cool rogue weapons that do rogue weapon things, so... Yeah. Anyway, it's neat, it's different, it's not how... It's specific to Calamity. Calamity mod adds the class. It's kind of like an expansion on the throwing system, which is, even in vanilla Terraria, still horrifyingly underrepresented. Outside of, like, the initial stuff, right? Like, there's some thrown weapons you can get later on, but they're not very good, and they don't really scale. I considered it, but the high today is in the 90s, and we're already heating up, and Deep Rock causes my office to heat up more than Terraria does. Because it puts more strain on the GPU, shocker that. So, yeah, we're gonna go with a more chill, slightly cooler morning. And that'll be how things are. And we'll see. Yeah. Yeah, Deep Rock is far heavier on my GPU processing, so it makes the PC make a lot more heat. We're just going to harvest some of our seeds here. We've got the ore seeds mod, so it does allow us to grow plants that we can harvest for the ore, rather than to have constantly going around and doing things. Things are different. Things are definitely different, as you can see. We have some more crafting stations added in. Up here in our crafting station, we've got some new NPCs. This is a fishman. I'm still glorious, but I have a different hat now. Look, I've got a fan that helps with that too. It's more the fact that the office, so the normal AC is not going to be able to keep up. And we will be lucky if the AC can maintain a temperature of 78 downstairs, which means it'll be in the low to mid 80s upstairs. And since there's not a dedicated air conditioning in the office right now, it means that we will be sitting in the mid to upper 80s guaranteed in the office. So we'll see how long today's stream goes. It may not go until 2 like it's scheduled. Yeah, I mean, I was enjoying yesterday hitting like 75, I think was the high it hit. Thanks to the cloud covering the rain. So I'm supposed to cool back off later this week, but yeah. Another new mod, or rather a new mod we added, is Fargo, who does the Fargo Souls mod, which is another big overhaul mod that adds a bunch of bosses and monsters to it. We're not running that one. But he did add a mod that adds Paper Mario style badges. So you have badge slots and you've got badge points, and you start off with 3, and you get more as you kill certain bosses, which is pretty neat. So that's what we're going with. Cause yeah, that's what we're going with. Where is? Oh, I just broke a thing. There we go. Fix the thing. Alright, so anyway, that's what we're doing. There's some interesting badges. I don't have any of the badges yet. We literally just added them to the server, so that'll be kind of cool. That'll be kind of neat. I'm looking forward to going to some of that. Some of them we can craft. We can craft 4 of them. Did I put that in the right chest? Yes, okay. 4 of them we can craft. One of them just makes it so I take double damage. Hey, how's it going? And the others have to be found as drops or bought. And I'm assuming that some of them show up with the Traveling Merchant. Where's the Traveling Merchant? Over here. I spent a lot of time... No, he's not. No, he's not. Where did he go? Ah, he's down here. I've explored around some things. I set up some more pylons so we can move around. Nope, there's that. Hey, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. As you can see, we found the Shimmer. Since it's the same seed as the last map before we converted to Calamity, it was in roughly the same position. It shifted a little bit. It was here-ish. Like, we're talking 30 blocks different. So that's not bad. There's some neat stuff that's been happening with the World Gen here. We got a whole bunch. We have a near-surface hive. I used the Shimmer to make an easy way down to Hell. Yeah, I'm not really looking for any graphics at the moment, unfortunately. But yeah, appreciate the offer of help. Anyway, since my contact info is down in the About panel. But since the Shimmer turns you intangible, and you float down 3 blocks until you find a spot large enough to fit your body to turn yourself back tangible again, until you get down to Hell, I just filled all the gap with dirt, which works pretty well. And then I was exploring around here, and you can see from the map. Went a little bit this way, found some stuff, went this way, and found this, which is something that Calamity adds. Which is it's part of the lore. But it's like a secret lab. Like Atlantis style. Which is pretty cool. It has some turrets in here and some other stuff. And some other neat things. And I was like, I don't know what to do with any of this stuff. But one of the items did reference another lab. And so I'm just kind of going through, chasing down the different things. Okay. I'll take a look at it off stream. But reference to the labs. So I'm just going to places. Supposedly I can use these to find them, but since I've been kind of exploring how things work anyway. Yeah, so I found a whole bunch of them now. There's one down here underneath the desert. When Rince and I fought the desert mini-boss there, it said there was some deep rumblings underneath. I assume that relates to this, but there's some neat stuff down here, like massive geodes, and there was another lab. And then I found one over here in the ice biome. What I was doing was just drilling straight down to see if there was something deeper underneath the ice. And then I got sidetracked because, you know, ADHD does that in exploring and loot, and I went all the way around through here, and I was just digging down and digging down and digging down, and big ice shelf, and then I found this, so there's another one there. I haven't gone deeper into the depths. The Sulfurous Sea confirmed this was sulfur, because it's referenced as such in the lore. Stop it. You already got your treats. No. No. And then down here is the Abyss, which is like a much harder version of the ocean. And I got here-ish, and then got my face ripped off in a single hit by something that had 12,000 hit points. So I'm assuming I'm not supposed to go there yet, until like hard mode maybe? I don't know. I might try delving into it more. It only goes a little ways, because if you go over to the side, you get into some other stuff. And I was like, you know what? One of these references something up in the sky. So I used a gravitation potion to float. And oh man, there's a Death Star up here. And a whole bunch of planetoids and a whole bunch of other stuff. So I spent a little bit of time last night flying around with gravitation potions, just constantly flipping gravity up and down to explore. I think I found all the Sky Islands. If not, they're like here-ish, and I don't really care because that's kind of short. But there's all sorts of neat stuff up here. There's gems and ores and chests and live crystals and all sorts of neat stuff up here. And also there is, because we have the Crimson. Alright, that's our evil biome for this map seed. There's one that's the counterpart, which is the Corruption. So there's a Corruption chest up here that I don't have a key to because I think it's the biome one. But it allowed me to get some Demonite, which is why we have Demonite growing down here now, which is kind of cool. Killed a couple bosses, not a whole lot. Like, mostly stuff that was earlier on, like the Blood Moon and Acid Rain we'd already had. I did the Goblin Army because I figured I could take care of it. I tried again at the Perforators and was able to kill them. Killing the worms it spawns is absolutely the way to go. Which Rince and I were kind of trying to determine which of those we wanted to actually do, but I did a couple of things. Like the giant clam just spawns. The giant clam spawns here. It's just a mini boss that shows up and you can just fight it. It wasn't hard. It was kind of like the King Slime, but easier. The biggest problem with that clam was the fact that at the end of the day, you were fighting it underwater. But I had potions for water breathing, and I had the flipper set and all that stuff. So it wasn't that difficult. And the rest of these are like just mini events. So this is the last actual boss. Crabulon's who we're going to go fight today, I think. Because he is spawned in the mushroom biome with a Decapotida sprout, which I did craft one of those last night. Haven't tried it yet. I know nothing about this boss fight. Oh, I'd also move some stuff around. We've got stuff sorted out based on type of damage and moved some stuff and made it look a little bit nicer. I'm still not happy down here with the storage area, but it'll get there. These came from one of the labs. They just make power cells slowly over time, and then you can plug the power cells into this charging station and use it to charge up things like this weapon I have, because it's from that thing. And we have a treasure chest full of lore now, because there's a whole bunch of stuff from like this Atlantean civilization that adds some lore, which is kind of neat. I mean, it's an interesting take because Terraria has lore. Like, Red actually maintains an internal private lore repository of stuff that nobody else has ever seen that explains how things and why things are the way they were. In the Terraria game, and Calamity is, taking some of that and taking it on their own. So I like they put forth the effort. The team that does this mod has done a whole bunch of lore stuff, which is neat. So it's not just, oh, here's random things, and I like that. I need to put our pig back down at some point because I ran out of space. We got the black goose though. I'm going to assume that the fact that the bot stole all of Dogface's points is a good sign that I'm going to do well in my boss fights today. Yeah, all is right with the bot. So, picked up a couple more slimes. This is the one of the new NPCs added, Amidius the Sea King. He's actually like one of the mer people that used to live here before something took over it all and killed off all their stuff. So he's like one of the last remaining mer people. At least near as I can tell. Who knows? Maybe that's wrong. We'll find out. Where did I put the boss stuff? Oh no. I'm reorganized and I can't find things now. Oh, there they are. It's right there in front of me. I'm blind. Alright, Decapotida sprout. And, that's the wrong button. There we go. We are at 35% Terraria and 31% with the Calamity collected for stuff with the bestiary, which is 34.24% total. You can see Calamity adds about half again as many enemies and creatures. So that's kind of cool. As far as fun things, we have the Rusty Beacon prototype. It's crafted from old tech stuff, and it's basically a turret. It's a stationary turret. It just sends out pulses that do a little bit of damage to everybody. We've got our masterful herring staff, which summons schools of fish. That came from Amidius's people there, one of the crab fights. I've got this tracking disc, which is basically a yo-yo, but does rogue damage, so it benefits from the rogue stealth mechanic of boosted damage if I wait between making attacks, as well as if I attack from full stealth, it'll shoot out lasers when it hits things and attack other people, which is cool. We've got the tooth balls, which are basically just throwable balls of flesh and teeth. Also a rogue weapon. It's of the throwing variety, and if I hit from full stealth meter against an enemy, it spawns a cloud that rains down acidic blood on them, which is cool. We've got the Sky Stabber, which just deals constant damage. The Sand Dollar does very similar stuff. It's just another yo-yo type. I am not sure if I'm going to shift to the tracking disc over the Sand Dollar, so it's still there. And then my primary weapon is still the spear that just leaves behind little damaging wind gusts. And there's that. So we need to find... There is a mushroom biome here. There's also one up on one of these islands, but it's very small, and I don't want to fight on a little tiny, like smaller than my house, mushroom planet. So we're going to come down here and explore this. Actually, I think what we're going to do is we're going to bring some explosives with us and see if we can expand the fighting arena. We'll bring some sticky dynamite and go from there. That's what we're doing today. I died 19 times to the Wall of Flesh, which is the final boss before it triggers hard mode. So, like, basically, you killed the biggest thing around. Oh, wait, actually, it wasn't. And now you've woken up all the things that were staying quiet. That was a bad idea of you. Which is really where the big part of the game begins. As I immediately walk face first into something that blinds me. Of course. So, let's see, where is... It's down that way. Let's go through our little tunnel here. I was growing some gem trees here to get enough gems to be able to make seeds out of them. Because it takes a lot. Like 1 to 3 dozen depending on the type of gem. And obviously the more rare it is, the more it takes. So... because the music changed, that means we're technically inside the mushroom biome, which is good. But we do need to explore around and see what's going on. So I'm primarily rogue. I've got a little bit of a secondary focus on summons. Just because having, like, every character gets at least 1 summon slot and 1 sentry slot, even if they don't invest heavily into it. And so there's a couple items that give bonuses to summons and rogue at the same time. Small ones. So, like, it's an effective secondary to work off of. And we're just going to go with that as it is. It's going to be nowhere near the power that Rince is able to throw out as a focus summoner. But it's enough that it can make a difference, and it can make farming a little bit easier at times. Technically, we're ahead of where we should be as far as gear goes for the type boss we're fighting. But alright, so it looks like this goes down and around. Let's mine our way down and see how that goes. We've got a lot of potion buffs that are pretty much up all the time, and we've got some upgraded gear, which helps. go down this way. And the big thing with the Rogue stealth mechanic is it charges as you move, or it charges faster as you stand still. But every time you use something, it resets your stealth state. So like you can attack, you can spam attacks, you can use tools, but then it clears your stealth state. And the more powerful the Rogue armor you wear, the more stealth you can build up. And there's some accessories that make it so you don't have to be at like full stealth in order to benefit from the stealth mechanic. But it doesn't change the fact that at the end of the day, doing things slows down or negates stealth gain. And the more stealth you can gain, the longer it takes to be able to get the big hits. So it's kind of a neat, fun thing. There's some benefits and drawbacks to it. We're gonna mine up here a little bit. My current armor said if I take too much damage at once, it'll spawn exploding feathers around me. Which is some of which y'all saw there as I dropped stuff on my head. I'll take this. Don't care about the rest of this stuff. Don't need that. Don't need that. Don't need that. Okay. I'm clearing things out as we go as far as chests, because most of these are early game things that aren't going to have any benefit to us. But it doesn't change the fact that they still show up on like the detection stuff, and also if you see it, you're like, oh, maybe there's some neat loot there. There's no loot there. None. None whatsoever. So many amethysts. I don't even need to mine those, but I'm doing it because I have to. I'm compelled. We're going to try to mine through the stone where we can, because that's going to maximize the number of mushroom grass. Hey, how's it going? So this is not as big of a mushroom biome as I thought it would be, because we've gone completely under it now. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to come back here and we'll bomb out this zone and then spread some more grass and help spread the biome a little bit, because we need an area to fight in. I don't know what this boss does. I would like to live more than like 3 seconds against it, though. Ooh. That's not fun. Yeah, I mean, at least there's backups, right? So. There's a tumbling worm. My fish blew him up. Alright, so let's start planting some explosives and blowing up some of this mud as we go. Oops, that's the wrong direction. Come on, there we go. Ah. Yeah. That's, fell off the wall, I didn't notice. Oh, there's so much trash in there. I just put so much trash in things. Alright, so the rest of the stuff we'll hold on to for right now. Let's take the sill, run it through the extractinator, put away the statue, and we'll throw this in the dice bin. Alright, let's go back to where we were and try that again without me blowing myself up in the process. Okay, someone's back. Yeah, I tend to run all of my stuff for the OS on a separate partition. Like, I grew up fixing people's computers in the Windows 98 days of viruses, and yeah, man. keeping your OS separate from everything else you have, doing a symlink for all your data to somewhere different. It's a habit I got in back then, because the easiest way to deal with that stuff is like, oh, you got yet another virus because you installed Bonzi Buddy again. Okay, well, that's fine. We'll blow this away. You got your data still. Just start over with a fresh, clean install. It's the easiest way to do it. Alright, so there we go. We want to see the torches turn blue. When the torches turn blue, it means we're in the right biome. So you've got the torch god effect. So it automatically changes things. I missed a drop there. That's fine. How big is the disc? That's the question I have. And is it an SSD or is it like an old school spinner disc? Oh, okay. Oh, you did say flash drive. I'm sorry. Nope, wrong thing. I'm gonna attack with this dynamite. That's a great idea, guys. The only concern I have is if in the process of removing all of this area in the center, we delete enough blocks that it no longer counts as the mushroom biome. We're gonna have to go through and replace some. Which isn't that big a problem at the end of the day, but it is something we're going to have to go do. Depends on if the Crimson overrides it or not. Oh, there's also something else that Calamity adds called Skynamite, which is dynamite that doesn't have any gravity effects on it, which is hilarious. I love the concept. Let's trash some of this stuff, because we just really don't need it. There's a mod out there that allows you to set things to auto-trash when you pick them up, and I'm really tempted to install it. Because, like... it starts to be a bit much. None of this is stuff we actually need. Actually, that might be it. I think we've got a whole bunch of those yet. Scuttler's Jewel is a rogue accessory. It's not very good. And I can't, like, I spent a bit playing with it last night, trying to be like, is this worth an accessory slot? And I imagine, like, early game, it could be. But, yeah, underground strip mine. With dynamite that sticks to things you attach it to. As my cat messes with my lights on my green screen again. That's a snail. Let's see. Yeah. These... and they can't even be made into anything. Like, it's not a piece that you need for later crafting. Oh wait, hang on. Go back with all items. Yeah, like, there's nothing there for it, so... I don't really know the value of it. If it even has value. I have mining pants at home. We don't need more mining pants. We don't need the banners because we're running the banner box, which gives us their benefits instead, without having to place them everywhere and farm them up for everything. We're taking the silt because the silt makes me happy. As long as the background is still mushrooms, we're still in a biome. That's the important part. This is much bigger now. I like this. Let's mine some space out. Let's see if we can flatten this a little bit on the bottom. So it'll make it a lot easier to fight in. One, if there's not water everywhere. Actually, no. I kind of get some bonuses from being in water, don't I? No, I'm not wearing that armor set anymore. I had an armor set that gave me bonuses if I was submerged. So, like, fighting bosses with it. I was actually better off being in the water than not. But we're going to take some mud. And we're just going to build mud platforms back out again. And then I'm just going to sit here and smooth over the stuff that is not runnable. Hey, not a problem, man. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate the follow. Alright. We still have the mushroom background. So this still counts. Which is good. I was concerned it wouldn't. But I don't know, maybe we don't need lights. Right? Like we got a lot of water down here. I can we can work with the water. The water doesn't slow me down or impact me negatively in any way. I'm gonna go grab all these coins. You can run on the surface. It's pretty flat. This part isn't, but that's fine. I mean, we've got space. We got space to fly around and stuff. So, like, I think this will probably work. Maybe. We'll find out. Alright, let's do that. Put those things away. Let's go drop this stuff back off. Because I don't want to deal with it. Ooh, another phone. Do I have one of these yet? I don't yet. Need the Bazaar, which comes from the dungeon. So that's cool. We can make them, though. Need hard mode because it needs wire. Okay, so this is still definitely worth... I'm assuming the green jellyfish is what dropped this. That's actually really lucky. Let's sell off the stuff we don't need to clutter our stuff up with. Excessive accessories and things like that. Go down here to the silt blocks, run them through the extractionator, get stuff out of them, deposit it all. There we go. Back to tools, put away the dynamite without blowing ourselves up in the process. Need yet another tools chest. To set up a storage room just for tools. That's not what I wanted. That's who I wanted. Alright, let's try this boss fight. Now that we have an arena to fight in. He kind of looks like a giant mushroom crab, and his name is Crabulon. So I'm assuming he's crab-related. So I'm assuming I don't want to be right next to him. Like, there's some bosses that, like, being next to them isn't bad and actually can make the fight easier. I feel like Crabulon, because he's a giant mushroom crab, is not one of those guys. I'm expecting, like, maybe a bubble attack, right, going thematically. Maybe something that conjures little crabs. That's my expectation. Let's actually see what happens here. Crabulon has awoken. Okay. I'm enjoying this music. Where is he? Oh, he's down there. Okay, he can move through the train. Yeah, so he's not obstructed the way we would have been. Okay, he gets faster the more he's damaged. But, I'm technically a lot higher level geared than he was. He wasn't a difficult fight. He would have been if I hadn't cleared this area out, because he could have just stayed invincible the whole time. So we've got some more lore there. We'll go through that later. Let's see what the treasure bag drops. More mushrooms. Godly mycelial claws. Grants the mushy buff for 6 seconds on enemy hits. Oh, that's fast. It's melee though. The Hive Rod, which is a... Oh, that's cool. Creates mushroom spores near the player. Clawmering, which is a rogue weapon. A slow, long-range boomerang. Stealth strikes grant the mushy buff to the user on enemy hits and summon homing spores. Okay, so it's not limited as a constant boomerang. So that's kind of neat. Give me something to hit with it. Hang on a second. Let's turn off our fish. Okay. Oh, I'm using the wrong weapon. I was like, wait a minute. That didn't look the same. Go down there to find more people to kill. There you go, I got some slimes and a mushroom zombie. What's this? No. What's this one? Let's turn off the accessory that keeps killing things before I can get to them. I just want things to kill. Come on. There we go. Okay, it does a little bit of stuff there. Mushy, increased defense by 6 and life. Okay, that's not a bad buff. I just don't really know that it's going to be useful for us. As far as that stuff goes. Arcane Fungal Clump. Summons a fungal clump to fight for you. The clump latches onto enemies and steals their life for you? Ooh. Is that as wild as that's supposed to look? I feel like the answer is no. How do you work? Oh. Okay. That's Interesting, but nope, I can't deal with that. Can't deal with that. Let's take a look at the boss log, because there's probably some stuff we didn't get yet. The trophy, the Micro Root, which also deals damage, fires a stream of short-range fungal roots. Stealth Strike spawn an explosion of fungi spores. Grant you and all other players for 15 seconds to wash you off. That's cool. All right, let's conjure him in here again. See if we can get some more items out of it. Oh, okay, he threw some stuff. He's up here now. Yeah, I can see this being a problem if you have less gear, much like the King Slime. If you don't set up for the fight, it can be kind of a big pain. But we set up for the fight, and we've got good gear, so we get the trophy that time. Oh, the fungal clone. Let's go back home. Yeet all that stuff off somewhere. Let's see, talk to Frederick. Do that. Get rid of these, get rid of this, get rid of this. This. This and that, and then we come down here because I think I just threw away some extra stuff in here for no reason. I did not. That's good. Lore. Put away the Whisper. And we come over here. So range stuff. Do we have anything that was... Let's treasure bag. These are equipables. That's a summon. Range damage converts musket balls into fungal rounds that split on death. Well, I'm not using the fancy stuff, so that doesn't work. We got melee with the mycelio claws. We've got magic with the hyphae rod. Puff shroom summons a cute mushroom warrior to fight for you. That's kind of neat. We got this. But one of these here, we'll sell the other one. That's way too trippy to use otherwise, and we'll split that as well. Keep one, sell one, because there's no point in holding on to them. The trophy can be used to craft another Lore Whisper. I mean, that does sound very, very similar. Alright, Puff Shroom. Let's get rid of our fish. See what this does. Oh wow. That's a hyperactive little shroom. Come here. Oh, whoops. Hey, go attack this dummy. Oh, I can't tell them to attack the dummy. It won't. Okay. I mean, that's not bad damage. It's not great damage. But it's also not terrible, and they bounce around and roll everywhere, and that is kind of cute. Oh, they are not very proactive, though. Yeah, I'm not a fan of these. Let's go back to the fish. The fish were better. They are happy, but they're not helpful. So we'll put that away. And we'll put those over here in the furniture. Save this for right now. And then we'll put away the summons. So that knocks that out. There's still this, which would be kind of interesting, but we didn't pull it yet. And there's this, which could be neat, but I don't want to have to sit there and fight it over and over again. Brain of Cthulhu is the next one, which is a vanilla boss. It's been modified, I believe, by Calamity. But we have to fight this. This is the next major point for us, because we need tissue samples to continue advancing for some of our stuff. And there's definitely some new items. So there's the Bone Rattle, which someone's a pet. There's the Brain of Confusion, which I prefer over the... Because each world has one of two evil biomes. There's the Corruption, or the Crimson, and there's the Corruption. The Crimson is what we have on our world seed, which is everything's made of flesh. It's kind of like... If you look at the map, it looks kind of like a mouth with a long digestive tract. The Scarf is great early on. We do have a thing here, Rents, by the way, that stacks with that. The Bloody Worm Tooth. You can combine with the Worm Scarf and some Souls of Night to get the Bloody Worm Scarf, which combines the two. Which, I mean, that's if you're playing melee, that's great, right? Because it's got high defense as an accessory. It adds flat damage reduction. But I've always preferred the Brain. Just because even after the nerf it got, it's still really strong. It gives you a dodge. It has confusion effects. So if something hits you, they can get confused, which is great defensively. Everything nearby. So, like against a single enemy, it's not that great. Against lots of enemies, when you're getting swarmed, it's far better. So... there's the Occult Skull Crown, which is a new thing. This has you go into Revengeance mode, which is like Master Mode Plus for Calamity, which we're not doing this run through. We did Master Mode last time, and that was kind of rough. We're just kind of enjoying this one. But it gives you it taps into the Rage mechanic, which is something that Revengeance adds. There's Rage and Adrenaline, so it allows you to attack faster and do more damage and some other cool stuff, and you can trigger it with button presses. So it really expands what you can do in combat. I just don't want to go through hard mode with it right now. The Corruption, so yeah, so there's Whispers. More Whispers. So there's a lot of things we can get out of this as far as, like, this is really the big thing. This is why you do it in vanilla. But we'll see how that goes. And then... Alright. We have explosives on us. We do not have explosives on us. Actually, we don't need explosives. I've got a hammer that can break the brain. But like the Shield of Cthulhu, which drops from the eye, which gives you the dash that knocks people back and makes you immune during it. That combined with the Worm Scarf can be... Oh! Ha! Found a badge! 50 hit points every 30 seconds get healed. Requires 2 badge points to equip. That's cool. We've got the badge points to spare. We'll do it. I don't know how much of an actual impact it's going to have. I'm expecting that we're going to absolutely just blast through the brain here in this fight, because we're kind of over-leveled for it. As far as gear and equipment goes, we've got more stuff than we would typically have, especially from an accessories perspective. And our gear is just a lot stronger, so... I think what I'm going to do here is set up some quick platforms just to help us more easily refresh our flight. Because in Terraria, flight resets. It has a limited duration to it, and when it's used up, that duration's expired, you have to land again for it to recover. So, normally, this would be a whole dig a big thing out here and like make this a lot bigger and blah blah. We're not doing that. We're going to show a complete lack of hubris entirely. No problems at all, and we're just going to fight it straight on, because what could possibly go wrong? I'm honestly not expecting to lose this fight. We've got gear this time, but because we did the more advanced boss in this biome, I'm also not really concerned. It's a pet item. Normally, this would be how you would, in normal Terraria, this is how you get access to guns. Because the first gun comes from breaking these hearts or the orbs of corruption if you got the corruption biome. And the weapons you get from them are different for each one. Okay, let's do this, and then we'll just, yeah, we're just ripping through them. So many extra phases. And summons always make this fight a lot easier, because when you get to that confusing phase, it's impossible to not know who the right person is. It used to be it would be the only one that showed up here on the minimap, and they changed that. So people couldn't choose the fights. But again, it's not a particularly difficult fight as long as you got damage. It's actually easier as melee. Ah, crap. Nope. Not a fan of this. Okay. We'll just wait for the crit to build up off of stealth. There'll be another one spawning here in just a moment. We'll throw out our mines. They deal damage just from being in contact with them. We'll trap him and lead them through like a bull to the slaughter. And then we'll just throw more down. Stay away from the Ichor. There we go. Taking care of... See, the problem was, when Rince and I fought this last time, we didn't take care of the worms. We're like, oh, we'll just keep focusing on the eye. And yet, the perforator itself, if you kill it, it does despawn the worms. But if you don't have a lot of mobility, it's rough. And that got spawned because the cyst that spawned happened to be next to another creature, and my fish killed the creature and dealt a bunch of damage to that at the same time. So we got 2 more pieces of lore. That's cool. One for the Crimson itself and one for the Brain of Cthulhu. We got the Brain of Cthulhu Relic. We got the Crimson Rod, which this is a really strong weapon early on for magic users. It allows you to summon a cloud that just rains down stuff and it passes through platforms. So you can use this to set up stuff kind of like a sentry, but for magic. So you cast it, it's there, it lasts for a while. It's constant damage. You can, either put it where the boss is or stand in the middle of it. It's a really solid magic weapon as far as that goes. Nothing particularly interesting here. Did I not get a treasure bag for the brain? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I don't see it glowing. Is there not a bag for that one? Yeah, there's a bag. Why didn't I get the bag? Am I missing it? Perforator's treasure bag. Nope, okay. Let's sell off some of this stuff. We already have these. A whole bunch of those. We've got a whole bunch of these. We don't need more. Already have that. Sell this. Sell this. Sell that. We already have one. The rest of this is stuff that we either need or want to keep. Sell this banner. Yep. And we got crimson tissue. Yes. Alright, let's go put this outside real quick. See, it counted us as killing the brain because it gave us the statue, but it didn't give us the bag, and that's weird. That's weird. Alright, so hang on. I got so many duplicate things in here. So much duplication. Crimson Rod is a magic weapon. Drop that in here. And we have the Jagged Brain of Confusion. Put that away. Jellyfish necklace is part of the diving gear. That's what it was. I need another accessories bin. I'm not happy with that. I'll stick it in here for right now. Don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody. I'm just gonna pretend that didn't happen. Anyway, yeah, so with tissue samples, we can now get some new stuff. Yeah, don't tell anyone. Got the Crimson Heart. This stuff is pretty good early on for vanilla. It's not helpful for us now. A lot of the stuff is not super helpful for us right now. That is, however... Anyway, Tainted Blade. That's cool. Inflicts poison on enemy hits. Need some stuff from Sulphurous Ocean. Sludge Splotch. That gets buffed really big by Rogue Stealth. Doesn't have a lot of base damage though. Ooh, summons a baby. Oh, a baby Bloodcrawler. That could be cool. Shadewood is... I'll go get some of this stuff. And then, of course, we can make the Crimson Pylon now. So, tissue sample, Crimstone blocks, forest pylons. So, we have the stuff for all this somewhere. I think. Unless I got rid of some of it. I was holding on to some of it. There we go. Crimstone blocks. And we have somewhere... another... We did. Maybe we don't anymore. Let's get off, just buy a new one. I have the money to buy a new one. It's not that big a deal. I need to go to the Crimson Altar to craft this, but this gives us a pylon to teleport to. And this is pretty close to home, but our dungeon entrance is also in the Crimson. So I'm going to put this one over here so we can easily get to the Crimson, because that just makes it easier. Void Vault requires bones, so it's like another form like the piggy bank, or the safe. It's additional, personal storage, and then you get the Void Bag, which again requires more bones. So we need to go get into the dungeon, which requires defeating Skeletron. So we're not there yet, and we need a lot more tissue samples. The Silencing Sheath is kind of cool. It's used to make the Dark God Sheath at endgame, which adds a whole bunch more stuff. Oh yeah, because this makes it so that it only spends 50 of your stealth. That's cool. So we want this. Yeah, Shadow Scale or Tissue Simples, and then any evil bars. So we could actually make this now. We just need some... I think we need some more silk. No, we got the silk. We need Crimtane bars, because that's our evil bars in this case. It's way too many. Let's put some of those back. And we got our flesh. Grab this. Click that. Silencing Sheaths. It's going to be another plus 10 max stealth. I need to figure out what I'm going to swap for this, though. I feel like it's going to be like... I think we're going to drop the Shark Necklace. No, we're going to drop the Harpy Ring for right now. This is going to be useful. We can combine this Harpy Ring with our Terraspark boots. Once we can upgrade them, get into hard mode, once we can upgrade them. So that'll be useful then. It doesn't do a whole lot on its own. It just increases our movement speed by 10%. We've already got a lot of that anyway. But it boosts the maximum flight time by 20%, which that's a pretty decent buff. But that's okay. Does this show up on my character anywhere? No. Okay. And then... sell some things. Nothing new has popped up yet from killing that boss. I don't know that anything new shows up in the shops. from defeating the brain? I don't actually recall. I'll be perfectly honest. No, some new paint showed up. Okay. And then nothing there. Some additional hair dyes, but nothing I'm particularly interested in. Then we need to come over here and do a reforge. Because I want to maximize my crit chance. We're not running the overhaul, because Calamity has an overhaul that changes how the reforge system works, so that you're not constantly just fully randomizing. Once you hit a new tier of the 6 tiers or 7 tiers of possible effects, you can't go below that point anymore. So once you hit a max tier affix, every time you do it, it just rotates between them. So that's really neat. That's some nice quality of life, but it's not something that's being run here. Then sell these. Sell that. Okay. Let's go kill the brain. Well, let's make this pylon, and then we need to kill the brain a couple more times. Because we need more tissue samples. So I want to make the Scab Ripper. I was waiting on it for the Perforator, because that's a really good gun, but I'm not doing range anymore. So we just need to make sure we have enough stuff for making the Void Vault and Void Bags eventually. And did I open the bag reflexively and just didn't notice, maybe? That's a possibility. Wouldn't be the first time I've done something like that in Terraria. Oh yeah, this is the badge that you can make that doesn't take anything. It just takes a piece of dirt at a Crimson Altar and just makes you take double damage. So maybe we'll play with that with a redemption somewhere. We know we have the Crimson Pylon. That's the important part. Okay, let's go conjure the brain back. Let's kill the Perforator first. Because his ass is annoying. Because we set up for it, I could just put all my mines in the way of the worm he spawns, and then it doesn't matter, because the worm just dies falling through my murder mines. And that's super easy to farm now. That said, let's see. Bloody Spine, which is, Vicious Powder, crap. Vicious Powder and then Vertebra, and we didn't make any of that. Alright, gotta go back. Back to El Segundo we go. And then that. And then we come down here, we go to our plants, because that's where these are. We make our Vicious Powder. We need 20, right? Calamity adds a lot of neat potions like this that gives you like biome-based benefits. Maybe in hard mode that'll be useful. And then 10 Vertebra at a Crimson Altar. Because that'd be kind of neat to have more value set. And I imagine for something like, if you're doing long-term farming, especially in hard mode, you know, where you're spending a long time, that would be a lot more useful. Or if you're playing on a much higher difficulty, like if you're playing on Revengeance or Death is Death mode. Oh, crap. Went to attack and I still have my mirror equipped. Teleported me back home. But for something like where it actually is a lot more dangerous and things hit a lot harder, and you deal so much less damage and your life regeneration is reduced. Something like that would be really, really helpful. I could see that being like really important. The stealth strikes, man. I love it. It's not a guaranteed crit, but it's a high chance of crit. Like with all of my gear set to lucky reforges, that each increase, you know, crit chance by 4%. It gets up there. See if there's something else we want to do with this, as far as that goes. There we go. Treasure back that time. The Brain is a much lower tier boss than the Perforators, and we easily kill the Perforators now. Oh, cool, we got the Brain in a jar. Summons a spider brain. Look at that. Look at that. It's a little brain spider. Oh, and a meteorite landed. Cool. That's also more stuff we need. But I want Danny DeVito. It's going to be really hard to unseat Danny DeVito from me here. I'll be perfectly honest. Oh yeah, no, I did, because that's what the Brain... Okay. So we got one before, I'm just a doofus and didn't think about it. And I was like, oh! I'll just click this open. Do-do-do. Alright, now we need to go. Let's see. Let's go teleport to this pylon. It's near the snow biome, but we don't have any NPCs that like living in the snow yet. So we just have like a little hut on the side of the forest. And then this is where we go down into the ice. Which I need to eventually keep going back down in, because I want to see if there's more stuff underneath it. I don't know if there's more stuff deeper under the desert that I've already explored, or if the new underwater biome there, the deep water, is all there is to it. It is a possibility, right? There's always the possibility that that's what was unlocked. We run through that. Okay, so if we put our pylon here, I know this counts as crimson because, one, there's so many things that are crimson around it, but also if I put down a torch, it's a crimson torch. So, that said, we need to figure out where that... So this, we can now teleport quickly to the dungeon, which is going to be useful later on. It's something to help us later. We need to figure out where that meteorite landed. Okay, now we're at the sulfur sink. So, it's either between here, or it's somewhere here. But we need to find out where that biome is. Let's sell off unnecessary stuff. Put all that stuff away. Go over here to the cosmetics. That's where we're putting the pets. The boss summons, put that away. We need to put our tissue samples away because we have everything we need now except for... Oh, right, we want to do this, the scab ripper. Shadewood. Do I have any shadewood? I don't know that I have any shadewood. I don't think I've cut down any trees. There's ashwood. That's an easy quick fix. We just put this down. Rambutan. Oh, Black Betty. Fruit. Okay, so what else do we need? We needed 5 Crimtane bars. Oh, we can make this. Shadewood, we'll put that away over here in the more blocks. We'll put away the tissue here and our crafting materials one. It's not a whole lot of damage. It's a 15 summon, but then again, my fully upgraded herring staff is also only a 20. So, let's get rid of the fish. There's an unconscious man out on the lawn. Okay, we got the barkeep. So that's fixed. Yay, Rinse. Fixed that bug. So this generates a thing we could do some neat stuff with. This is really how a lot of the early game sentry stuff pops up. And it also gives some neat things for summoners and all that stuff too. Later on. So there's that. Anyway, what was I doing? Right. Oh, they're little beetles. Oh, they're so cute. Do they do damage, though? It's summon damage. You're supposed to be able to target with it. Oh, that's upsetting. That's fine. We'll go find something to kill. We'll find a slime or something. It's daytime. Here we go. We got this guy. Oh, that's cool. I like that. That's not bad. That's actually pretty decent damage. It's unupgraded. It's a little bit upgraded. It's a very minor upgrade. Because Crit Strike doesn't do anything on its own. So that's actually pretty decent damage. But I like the fact that my fish fly. So we're going to stick with them. But that's actually not a bad weapon. Okay, there's no new stuff for that. Let's see, we get 10 metals for free, which we get this crystal stand. It gets us one of these. We can actually get 2 of them. We'll get back to this later. This is a later thing. Put this in the boss, and let's take these metals here. That works. Yeah, that works. We'll go with it. It's actually annoying, but we'll go with it. All right, so let's go see if we can find where that meteor fell. I don't know that we need the meteorite for anything right now, because I was able to use the shimmer to more easily get into hell and was able to easily grab a hell forge as a result. And I had enough potion stuff for between accessories and potions, I was able to get Hellstone without taking any damage and upgrade enough stuff that lava doesn't really concern me. That said, if you go far enough over, maybe it's got to be under the dungeon side, maybe. There's a whole new biome here that's got like mega hellfire, and even if you're immune to lava and have like all the accessories that reduce lava damage and everything else, you still take damage when you're submerged. Which says something. And there's stuff here. There's some new stuff here that I thought was kind of cool. Giant spines. There's a big bridge here. You can fight some stuff on it. There's a tombstone from where I died, from where I got my face torn off. And based on the lore, I think if I keep going this way, because there was one of the lore snippets from the labs I found, this was like a major, like, ancient civilization city that got destroyed. So, and it's the reason why the sulfurous sea exists, is them doing massive industry here and the toxic fumes from it leaching up and poisoning the ocean. It was kind of cool. So I do want to eventually get back through here more before we get into hard mode. I just haven't done it yet. Where did Eladon spawn in? Traveling merchant. Oh, he's back home. I want to talk to you. He's got a fedora. Rip. Let's keep looking for the meteor. I guess I'm just so used to seeing the prism shards at night underground that I didn't realize they actually look like crystals, because I'm just so used to seeing the blue sparks, because that's the only thing you see otherwise. I'm gonna get in trouble one of these days because I'm going to eventually get to the point where I do enough damage, I just pop those cysts passively running past them. And it's just going to constantly spawn bosses. Okay, so we made it to the jungle house without seeing the meteor. Oh man, I hope it didn't land on, like, one of the sky islands. That can happen. Normally it doesn't because it avoids places where there's chests. But I've removed a couple chests from Sky Islands, and also some of the islands are lakes, like they're sky lakes, so they don't have chests. So if we don't see it, we make it to the ocean. Or you go back and double check that one little patch of land to the west that we didn't look at yet. Yes, not on top of the tree. I've seen them completely... There we go. Destroy trees. Let's grab the meteorite. They are beehives. They're hornet nests, actually. The ones from the trees are hornet nests. And if you disturb them, they will fall down, they will deal damage, roll into something, and when they hit something hard, they will spawn a hornet that attacks you. They're incredibly annoying. Like almost everything in the jungle. They are incredibly annoying. Oh yeah, no. So that is a deep beehive. There is a boss for that, the queen bee. We will have to fight her soon. She has a larva that, you know, I'm honestly shocked I haven't accidentally triggered a fight with her because of the shards that rain down from that one accessory I have, or like my fish. It's super easy to accidentally trigger her. And triggering her when you're not prepared for it or ready gets you ganked hardcore. And like if you try and run away, she becomes enraged and does a whole lot more damage. So I guess I've kind of been lucky so far. But yeah, there's a bunch of those. It's where you get honeycomb from. It's where you get it's where you get the honey from, which doesn't make a bad healing potion if you've not like gone through the effort of setting up a farm. Normally this would be setting you on fire, but I have potions and things that make me immune to fire, so I'm not burning to death standing on the meteorite, and my little summon fishes are killing off the meteor heads before they get to me, because as long as you're in this area, it will continuously spawn little explosive meteor heads, like something out of Final Fantasy, until you're no longer in a meteor biome, which requires there being less than 200 blocks of the meteor ore. It's also possible that the jungle's overriding this. I don't remember if the jungle is a biome that can do that. The jungle's pretty aggressive as far as what it overrides for biome states. But normally, like if you're playing through the game as melee, this right here is really dangerous. More than once, I have just gotten explosives and blown them up, and then collected the blocks afterwards. But every time the Brain of Cthulhu or the Eater of Worlds, which is the large world worm version, the corruption biome, it's the corruption counterpart to the Crimson's Brain of Cthulhu. Every time one of them is defeated, if it's the first time that day, there's a chance that a meteorite will spawn that night and crash somewhere on the world. So, unless there's a certain number of meteorite blocks already on the world somewhere that you haven't mined up, in which case it won't. But there's that. Okay. The meteor armor set, if you're playing through as spells, is amazing. Because if you're wearing the full set and you make the space gun, it just takes 20 meteor bars, right? So 20, 35, 55, 65 bars, which is just not that much. The meteor suits its special set bonus makes it so that you don't take, or you don't have to spend mana to use the space gun. So it gives you a magic laser weapon that doesn't cost anything to use, which is really good, especially early on. Like if you're playing through this normally. And then the Star Cannon, which is an upgraded mini shark, which shoots stars as weapons. You can get phase blades, you can get lightsabers, which are not bad, based on gems and then meteorite bars. The ham axe is both an axe and a hammer together. It's kind of critical for a lot of progression stuff normally, if you don't do a lot of fishing. Meteor shot is a great ammo to use if you're using guns. If you don't sit there and farm enough money to be able to buy enough pinatas to be able to get a shit ton of party bullets out of them, meteor shot's the way to go. Because it does. It's fast, it's got good damage, and it makes little fire explosions when it hits things. The meteor staff is also not bad. Comes down from above, though. So, like, it's not useful in tunnels, but it's good for boss fights or areas where you got clearance overhead. Drill containment unit we can't make yet. Hard mode, hard mode, hard mode. Same thing with this. This is like end-game armor here. But that's neat. It requires that. Stardust end-game. That's definite hard mode, super hard mode endgame. Meteor Fist. Fires a rocket fist that explodes forcefully. Okay, we're gonna go make one of those. Yeah, we're definitely gonna go make one of those. Sell off the excess garbage we don't need anymore. And we're going to also grab a whole bunch of seeds because we need to make more seeds. So we can just grow more of these. We need pots. We're out of pots. We're out of spare pots. Where's the clay? In here. Ooh, we don't have enough. We need more clay. We need more clay for pots. I'll have to go farm some later. I didn't think that through, but I placed that. It's gonna look bad. I feel bad. I'll have to fix this later. let's make some bars. Put the rest in here. We need 10 bars for that explodey fist. There we go. Meteor fist. All right, let's take a look. Okay, it is affected by gravity, but only slightly. That's okay damage, I guess. The DOT it applies, the on fire debuff, that's pretty good actually. And then it does what? Ricochet between enemies. Okay, so it gets you. That's cool. I'm past it because of the whole going up into the sky thing. But that's not bad. I can see that being really useful, especially in a hard playthrough where you can't go up and deal with the harpies early game. Can absolutely see that being a valuable thing. Alright, next, we got all these things. The Old One's Army. So this is, again, what we just got, the Tavern Keep. This is a crossover event from Terraria and... one of the tower defense games that I'm forgetting the name of right now. So we need to go do some stuff with that. Because there's a whole bunch of things that come from this. And also we need the models, or the medals from it, for some other stuff. Because these are useful. Sentries are great. The armor you get later on, once you defeat Skeletron, that you can buy from the shop is far better. Also, the Defender's Forge is a really good item because it serves as another secure storage. So, it's good to do. And I think... I don't know if we want to use this for the hard mode version, but I think the simple one we set up here is going to work. We got a bunch of fish, though, so I'm not too terribly worried about it. But basically, the way this works is enemies continuously walk from portals on either side. They drop mana crystals, and you can use those to cast your various sentries and go from there. Because we're way higher level than gear-wise what we should be, this shouldn't be a big fight to get the first completion. I might end up eating my words for that later. We're going to relocate our existing sentry here, though, because that's a better spot for it. But we're going to sit right here so that our fish go after things over there first. Kill them before they get to us. You also can't do things like place blocks and build things while the event's running, so you can't cheese it. And if you somehow use things like traps or automated timers to protect the crystal, because they're trying to march their way here and kill it, they just turn in ethereal and walk right through it. Wait for complete. They didn't get too terribly far out. Let's drop this down a little bit. There we go. Let's go ahead and trigger the next wave. The question is, once we get to the wyverns, because they fly, is that going to be a potential issue? There's people who do things like swear by the ballista staff. I hate the ballista sentry. It feels bad. The explosive mine is far better for this because you can just drop them all in one portal and then not care about that portal the entire rest of the time. Okay, we didn't make it past that tree still, so I'm feeling pretty good about that. The boss should come from this side if I remember correctly. We have to watch out for wyverns is the problem. Because they fly. So. Okay, we had a couple fish start to go off that way, so a wyvern did get up airborne, but then it died before they could do anything else. So, our little rusty beacon doing its job. We got a little bit further past. We might get some enemies coming out past our beacon this next time. We'll see. Typically, the first wave through of this, the first playthrough, is not that big a deal. What it comes down to is there's a DPS race against the Dark Mage, because if you don't have the ability to pierce enemies, he constantly summons things, and so you can get into scenarios where you just can't deal damage to him because the event doesn't end until he dies. You can see his health bar down here. And if you don't have a way to pierce through enemies, he just constantly conjures skeletons and stuff that just eat your attacks. So there we go. First time through is done. This allows us to use the sentry weapons that the Tavern Keep sells outside of combat now. We can use them for regular usage by spending mana. So we have an open house here still. I need to build some houses. All right, so we got 5 metals out of that. That's not bad. The explosive trap rod is the one that I like because you just drop it down and just keep spacing them as close as you possibly can, and whenever anything comes within their activation range, it explodes up this big burst like a mine, which also works to clear out the ethereal wyverns if you place it right. So if you place the first one directly at the bottom middle of the portal and then just walk them as close as you possibly can, they work pretty well as far as that goes. The ballista rod, some people swear by it. Even on master mode, it wasn't better because it has like slow tracking, and then it shoots and it moves slowly, and there's arc, and yeah. Later on, once you can get the better ballista rods or the armor for it, if you want to go that way, they're not bad. But you kind of have to hold things in place for it to be really good. Flame burst is not bad. The lightning aura rod's good because it ignores enemy defense. So if you got a lot of summon damage bonuses, it's great because like the bigger, like the bosses and stuff like that show up that typically have a lot of armor, instead of your minions doing 1 damage per hit, the lightning aura from this sentry, and it's like a little bubble, ignores their armor and just blasts them anyway. So get the apprentice's scarf. Oh, that's cool. Rens will like that. It increases your max number of sentries. Actually, he may not be running sentries this time. I was considering running sentries, and then I went rogue instead. So we'll see. I'll put this in the summons. It's really what I should do is go through and pull the accessories that are specific to a specific combat type. I should be setting them that way. I'm going to get the war table, which allows you to get a buff to have more sentries out. I'm going to stick this with glass. Yay, max number of sentries +1. I can have 2 sentries now, so I could do... Because it's not just for those, it's all sentries, so I can now do double beacons. Which is great. Let's see, is there anything we really want out of this we haven't got that we can get yet? So the Squire Shield's good. The Huntress' Buckler is good. Again, you can, if you run the event a couple times, you can get these drops and get quite a few sentries normally. right? Which is pretty cool. You can, if you spend all of your slots on them, you can get one of each of the effects and end up with 5 sentries, which is pretty solid. To be perfectly honest, especially if you're running a summon armor, because then you get bonus summons off that. This is all higher tier stuff. The Betsy mask is kind of fun. We can get the pets maybe, but I don't want to put forth the effort for that. Betsy, who's like the dragon, who's one of the higher ones, can drop the return postage badge, which is really strong. Like, it takes a lot of badge points, but it's not bad. But that's hard mode. So, all right. The Hive Mind is the next. We can't do the Hive Mind because that's a corruption one. But I did find that island, right? And we've got Demonite bars as a result. Rotten matter might be the problem, though. Rotten matter and rotten chunks. So let's... That might be doable. It might not be. Hi, Parth. Welcome in. Sorry, I was in an event and I'm just sitting here chatting away and I'm not paying attention. But welcome in. So, let's grab a potion. We'll get back up there because the only way I can get up there is by inverting gravity. I'll grab a couple of these. War Tabor Banals, not really useful for anything. They drop all the time. Let's sell them on us. No, sorry, you're a cat. You can't buy things. So we need to go Forest Pylon. Oh, crap. I didn't favor the potions, so when I told it to quick stack, they went back in. There we go. Pop one of these, and we'll just flip the world upside down. Alright, so that's just ebon sand. I think space overrides this despite the number of corruption blocks we have here. So we might need to mine a whole bunch of this and make our own at ground level. Let's try that, because space is definitely overriding. Because we got the space music. So space is definitely overriding the biome for the zone. So let's grab a whole bunch of this ebon sandstone. Take it down to the ground. And go from there. And you can easily see how, if you didn't have a lot of strong summons, or some other easy way to deal with that, the constant presence of harpies spawning would be really difficult to deal with. But the feathers are good. The giant harpy feather... What is this used for? Oh, the wings. That's right, so that's a hard mode wing set. It's got better stats. How much ebon sandstone we have? We have 230. We're not there yet. I'm trying not to tear this up too terribly much. Because I honestly do like the island. It's kind of neat. It's not... I didn't expect that at all. So finding that was kind of cool. I'm just going to get under a little bit of cover of land. That seems like a good way to do it. So, because this does not... Oh, here we go. Oh, wait, no, that was an aerolite slime. I thought that was a corruption slime. It was not. This ore up here you need for a lot of stuff involving flight. Pretty hard mode. So, it's definitely worth to come up here. And, like, the armor set I'm wearing uses it, too. Don't have the key for that. Darn. Alright, how many have we have? 459. That should be plenty. Where do we want to put our fake corruption? Then we're going to stick it over here. This is just forest, so it's an easily overwritable biome. Shouldn't cause any problems. If we can get corruption monsters to spawn, then we shouldn't have any major issues either. There's an airship in the background. Alright, this is... Yeah, this will work. So let's see, let's do this way. Flatten this out a little bit, and then we'll just place down a whole bunch of these blocks. That seems like the way to go. It is such happy music. It's because it's a windy day out. You can see from the clouds in the background. And you can hear from the balloons popping, there's slimes that float around on balloons. Like helium balloons. I want to leave that fairy log there because you don't really have a way to place those again if you break them, and that's where fairies spawn. I don't think we have a use for them right now, but yeah, the slimes get rough. There's an item you can get from the king slime. There's an accessory that makes it so slimes are friendly to you. They won't deal damage. They won't attack you. It's good if you can defeat the king slime boss. Which you don't need a whole lot of mobility for it. It's just a lot of learning his attacks. Because like his attack pattern, he does, like the normal slimes, he'll do 3 small jumps and then a big jump. And if you get too far away, he will like do this thing where he does like a Super Mario shrink down because he got hit thing. When he does that, you run. Because he's going to teleport directly into where you were standing when he starts that. And as long as you have those 2 things, you're fine. It's a lot of learning his attack patterns. Alright, so we start here. There's just robot crunching noises everywhere. Throw down a whole bunch of this. These poor abandoned Wolfram robots just getting the absolute tar beaten out of them by my magical intangible fish. Doesn't seem very fair, does it? Now we're getting closer. Let's do this. Place down a whole bunch of sand that's impregnated with the power of pure evil truly elemental horror. And just make the world a little bit more corrupted. The Dryad's not going to be happy with us for doing this. Because she wants us to purify everything. Sorry. That doesn't get us cool loot. There we go. We officially count as the biome. So, bad things should now spawn for this. Ooh, but no, we need to put more down, because if we go too far to the left, we leave. Alright. Let's do some of this. Look at that. Perfect. Perfect. Planned. Alright, so yeah, that's the transition point. So as long as we stay away from the large amount of that, we should be fine. Where do we transition back? Down to here. Okay, so yeah, this is fine. If we stand here, things that have to spawn on ebb and sand blocks should be able to up there, because it's just off camera. Alright, we're zoomed all the way out. So there is that as an option. Of course, rotten chunks and rotten matter. What does rotten matter come from? Interesting. Rotten matter drops from the hive minds. It's not helpful. Kill a tumor in the corruption ore. Okay, so we might need to use the tumor method. Yeah, so it's still LiveSpace is still early in beta, so it's still picking up people, and a lot of people are still either due to bandwidth limits, they can't dual stream, or they don't want to risk their affiliate or partnership, right? So it gets busier in the evenings, evenings US time. There'll be more people popping on. There were some more people on this morning, too. But they were, like, EU hours. So this is, like, late in their afternoon. I run fiber, so I can push however many streams up I need to. That's not a big concern. Alright, we need to go get some more evil sand and expand this out further to give some more spaces for... Yeah, I've heard a lot of that. Honestly, if you're an affiliate, they're not paying attention to you, and as many times as partners screw up and still keep their stuff, like, you have to do something pretty big to get them upset enough. That said, legal disclaimer, I'm not telling somebody to violate a legally binding contract for your monetization qualifications with Twitch, obviously. But that's evaluate for your use case scenario. Considering that there's been big name partners that have been called out multiple times for actively streaming to every possible streaming site out there. And the streamers in Asia typically multi-stream to several of their Twitch versions or Kick versions over there in Japan and Korea, and nothing ever happens to it. I would honestly be shocked. Now that said, because YouTube has started rolling out their mobile first vertical short streaming platform, it'll be interesting to see if Twitch updates their terms of service to ban multi-streaming to mobile first stuff at the same time. Technically, Twitch, it's not that they only allow TikTok. The specific language is it must be a mobile first streaming format. So that includes TikTok. Back when Facebook Gaming had like their own standalone Facebook Gaming app for the phone, as opposed to just regular Facebook streaming now. That was explicitly allowed as well because that was a mobile first format. It just falls under general like Facebook Live or whatever they call it now. And there was some other like third-party smaller stream sites out there in certain parts of the world that, because they were designed for mobile users, Twitch didn't want to fight with it, because Twitch knows if they had to fight against TikTok, they would lose. Right, like that's if they said you can only stream to one and not the other, a lot of people would leave who were in the mid sizes, because the big streamers, like the mega partners and all that get the thousands of viewers at a time, they cost Twitch money. Twitch loses money on them because the density of viewership and the amount of the amount of transcoding they have to do to serve this stuff up, compared to the number of like subs and stuff they have. Oh, this is okay. He teleports. He doesn't move though, but he's got a ton of health. Oh, now he moves. Oh, okay. Well, nope. Stop charging me. That's not very nice. They lose a lot of people out. So, like, the people who stream to, like, one or two people who don't have any subs, I mean, technically they cost Twitch money, but not really, right? Because the bandwidth cost for that's negligible. But, like, the XQCs, even the Co-Carnages, right? The Hassan Abis, the people who have streaming that hits... Let's pop a potion. That hits... This is tripping. Thousands of concurrent viewers and pulls, millions of views over the course of a daily stream. They don't have the subscription density to earn Twitch money off of that. Like, they're good for getting people to use the platform in general, but they cost Twitch. That was harder than the perforators. I'm not gonna lie. The first stage, I was like, oh, this is not that bad a deal. And then he started flying around and teleporting and, like, phasing through things, and that got a lot harder. I would say that is definitely the harder of the two bosses. Whereas the mid-range stuff, right? So the people who stream between, like, 3 and 75, that affiliate to partner level, they actually tend to make Twitch money. That's where Twitch makes most of their money from the subscription side of things, because they have a very high subscriber to viewer density, because they tend to have a much more focused and functional community, right? Like the viewership is there to develop a community, and people want to be supportive and all that. So you tend to have much closer to 40, 50, 60, 70, 100+% subscriber to viewer ratio versus the mega people who you're getting, at best, last I saw the numbers, was about 7% subscribed. So Twitch doesn't want to drive away that mid-range that actually helps them stay afloat. Which is why... Close call, we got a badge. Cool. Which is why they don't ban TikTok streaming, because that's honestly the easiest way to grow a Twitch stream, is to bring viewers in from other sites, right? You get that conversion, because you can't really advertise directly otherwise. It doesn't work. So they would have a hemorrhage. it would not go well for them. So they just don't do it. All right. Let's see. Let's dump some of the stuff. Done zombie venue. So the rotten chunks we want. This is other things. The worm teeth. I think we need these for something. I know they're just unholy heroes, so that doesn't matter. Close call. Grants a 33% dodge chance when below 25 HP. I've got the BP, so we're going to go ahead and equip it. Why not? Yeah, getting into this game, it depends. Yeah, so here's the problem. Twitch's analytics are iffy for them. That's a big part of the problem. There's a lot of tech debt with the platform, right? Justin TV still has a lot of stuff in the back end, and it takes a lot of effort and code to rip old things out and make it more modern. So even they don't always know the analytics correctly, which is it's unfortunate. But again, they're at the top of their game. They're at the top of the game they are because of being the first to really make this kind of format thing work. And so as long as they keep improving things, and they've been pushing out a lot of improvements lately, as long as they keep doing that, it's going to work well. But it's also why, like they just announced this week, you can set up clips and mark them as like premiere clips or whatever the terminology they used for it, because that makes it so that they show up more often, and it's going to go into the soon to start top clips or recent important clips or big example clips feed, which is going to run very similar to TikTok's feed, to the YouTube Shorts feed, to I can't remember the name of the Japanese platform that does something similar, right? So like they're finally getting into that game, which will help with discoverability some. But like just pure saturation on the platform and the fact that you can't really do good advertising and they funnel everything natively to the biggest people, it makes that growth hard. So I'm kind of excited to see what LiveSpace does here. Being built from the ground up on a more modern platform with a different distribution network could be fun. Could be neat. At the very least, having another functional competitor in the space is good, right? Like Kick showing up definitely kicked Twitch in the ass, right? To try to push some things out there in a way that YouTube couldn't, because YouTube's formatting is completely different, and the way it works is just completely different. So we'll hold on to that for later. We got the Hive Mind Relic, and that's cool. We'll throw this down over here. The worm teeth aren't helpful for us. Do they literally have any use other than that? No, just for making unholy arrows. Okay, well, I'll stick them in the crafting bin anyway. And then the rotten chunks. There's a whole bunch of stuff we can make with these. We can also get rotten chunks from other stuff. So, the Eater of Worlds, we could use that. We don't really have a good spot to fight him in, though. We need a much larger place for that. Let's see. The Corrupt Flask might be good. The Filthy Glove is the corruption version of the Bloodstained Glove I have. So except instead of 8 armor penetration and healing for 2 on stealth strikes, it's 8 armor penetration, 8% more damage. It's Because with the Hive Mind now, we can craft that. Probably. Do we get any? Yeah, we got Rotten Matter, so we can craft it. Shade Rain Staff. These are okay. They're okay. We did that more for the ability to say we did it. But that could make some fun stuff, because you can combine the Brain and Confusion with the Rotten Brain and some Souls of Night once you get into hard mode to make that, and that's not bad, because it combines the two. Damage buff on top of AoE effects on top of the defenses. That might be something I actually run. That wouldn't be bad at all. So there's that. Let's put the stuff away. Put that away. Put that away. I don't have space in my metals chest anymore. That's sad. We'll do that. I'll move the chains. I'll move the chains over here to the crafting side. We'll do the same thing with this, because they can still do things there. And then we'll go plant some seeds. You know what? We're not going to plant seeds. We've already got seeds for that. We don't need to plant seeds. Melee. And then this is an accessory. We're going to throw this in the armor side of things, because we don't have the space for it right now. We should do the Eater Worlds at some point, just on principle. But I'm not gonna. Maybe we'll do it later just to get it checked off of the checklist, but... Yeah, TikTok has issues with bot farming. And by bot farming, I mean they have a bot come through, and anybody who's in... You can pay somebody to have a bot farm come through and mass report somebody to have them stripped off the platform temporarily until it's reversed. But it doesn't change the fact that then that person's not live. So you can clear out the competition in your local size, which is a bad way to do things, but it is what it is, I guess. I don't even try to understand how TikTok works or farming it. I know people who do. I know people who have great success at it, but I'm autistic, literally autistic, and my brain doesn't wrap it right. So, all right, Queen Bee is next. So, Dogface, this is what summons from breaking the things in that the hive's larva. We might have a potential arena over here, depending on what happens when I clear out these tree roots. We'll see. Also, this is one of those games, Senpai, where sometimes it works best in a group, right, with multiple people. It makes things harder, yes, but also there's a lot of stuff in this game that just works better in a lot of cases if you've got more than one person involved. Just because it makes it more fun. Like you can do some deep stuff in this, but like if you are not a fan of like the play style for these games, it can get rough to really get into it until later on. There's a lot of mods and stuff like that out there for it. You know, like a lot of stuff we're doing here. Like half the bosses are added by mods from Calamity, and that can make a huge difference. I think the biggest issue with Terraria is it is much like Minecraft. It is one of those things where it's a game that shows its age. And by that I mean like the requirement to reference either a mod or a wiki to understand how you're supposed to progress in the game and where you're supposed to go and what you're supposed to do is kind of its biggest downfall. Like, once you've done it enough times, you don't really need to think about it. And in the cases, like, the Calamity Wiki is huge. And I'm largely avoiding it. But I've also got the boss checklist mod installed here, so I can see the list of all the bosses and roughly in the order you should be trying to take them on. And that helps. Man, I'm really concerned I'm going to accidentally... That's a pot, okay. I was like, tell me that's not a larva. I'm really concerned that I'm going to pop a larva in here. Yeah, that's a coming feature that they don't have yet, but it's on the roadmap. Yeah, it's been requested that, like, because it runs very similar to the way YouTube streaming does, where if you page back and forth right with the slider bar in YouTube, there's a button you can click. You know, you can go forward 10 seconds, or you can click the button and have it shoot you to the current point in time. Which this is something that's something that's really needed for this platform as they continue to develop the streaming, the accessibility side of things, along with dark mode. Native dark mode is coming, thankfully, because that's a major accessibility thing. let's start putting some torches down, like this area up here, so we can get some visibility on what's going on around us. And honey sticky. There we go. Okay, good. My thing is not breaking that. What's down here? There's a whole bunch of stuff here. Oh, this is huge. I wonder if that's normal in Calamity, or if we just got really lucky on the server instance. If the seed just gave some good stuff. Yeah, to be fair, as Lanza points out on the Twitch side, it does start directing you more after hard mode, so once you kill the wall of flesh. But that's also largely when Red brought on more additional help for development, right? So, and you can kind of get some hints before hard mode from some of the NPCs for things you might want to do. But since, again, unless you're running a mod, you don't necessarily know what the NPCs are and how to spawn them. So, like, sometimes it's random, and sometimes you can get some hints based off looking at things like achievements, but that doesn't really help a whole hell of a lot at the end of the day, you know? So, alright, we're going to take all of this down, so we've got a mostly flat place to go. And then we're going to place some platforms before I accidentally summon this thing. Thankfully, this is one of those bosses where you can craft the boss summon item for it pretty easily. Alright, we'll do the one that gets us effectively 3 layers to work with if we're not terribly stupid. I'm not going to put in an additional campfire. Actually, no, we're going to do a campfire. We'll do one here, and we'll do one up here, and that should cover us no matter where we are inside here now. We'll have the campfire buff, which boosts our health regen. Yeah, and you're not wrong, Rince. The character-based achievements are hints. And I still maintain that much like doing things like weapon and tool durability, and things like creating just things that are just an increased tier of something is bad game design. It's lazy game design. And I have never once heard an argument that is convincing of me of that fact. Okay. Let's set some stuff up here. We're going to drop both of these. We've got our summons. We've got our tracking disc. Yee! Okay. Starting things off badly already. Alright, throw those out. Oh, some of the stuff was changed by Calamity. Okay. Not enough to matter. We'll see if Phase 2 goes harder. Not really. I do appreciate that it doesn't make the really obnoxiously loud whenever it charges. That's a nice change over vanilla. Minor changes to this fight, not enough to make a big difference at the end of the day. Not enough to matter. Alright. Lore! Alright, so... Alright, I can't have both my inventory and that open at the same time. Oh, we got the treasure for it. That's cool. What have we not gotten? We didn't get the cosmetic. We didn't get the beekeeper sword. That's okay. Or not melee. The pet we didn't get. The range gun. The honey goggles. That's a shame. because having a flying mount would be cool. This is a hard mode thing. This is a hard mode thing. We've got the witch doctor showed up. That's good. We didn't get the sparkling honey, but we got most of the rest of the important stuff. That's cool. The lucky honeycomb is cool. Releases bees and douses the user in honey. Honey gives a pretty major health buff for regen. The hive wand, which allows you to place hives for consuming hives, so the hive blocks. The intense bee gun is a magic weapon. It shoots bees. And they bounce off things. So, like, they ricochet. And it's kind of fun. Hardened honeycomb. It's a rogue weapon. Fires a honeycomb that shatters into fragments. It grants the honey buff to players it touches. Can bounce off walls and enemies from stealth. See, I told you, Rince. I told you should have played while you waited. That's the nice thing about Terraria. Like, unless you're in the middle of a boss fight, in which case you just nope out, right? It's a game you can pick up and put down easily. Beanades. So, beeswax is a good crafting material. Beanades is the secret to the wall of flesh. If you're not playing modded, farming... Once you can get to the point where you can kill the queen bee, farming the queen bee for lots of beanades makes the wall of flesh super easy, because you just sit there and you make a big platform above the lava, and you just chuck beanades, because they're grenades that explode, except instead of fragmentation pieces, they spawn bees, and then the bees swarm the wall of flesh. As you sit there and just keep throwing them and throwing them and throwing them, and it's great. Actually, is there a recipe for these? There is. Grenades and bee wax. See, so you get some from killing the bee, you can get the bee wax from killing the bee, and you can use it to make more bees. There's some goofy stuff. There's... Oh, right, I forgot we had beeswax bullets. I want to give that a try anyway. The high five summons killer bees after striking your foe. The hornet summon, if you're going summits, the hornet staff is one of the best vanilla pre-hard mode summons that exist. Only beaten out by the imp staff. And even then, sometimes it's better depending on the situation. And there's a summon armor set too. So these are all fun stuff. Queen Bee Trophy. The Rash Hive Pack increases the strength of friendly bees. It's unequipable, so you throw this on, and then your beanades and your bee gun and everything else just get stronger. Bottle of honey is good for a recovery ability. It's a heal and a 2-minute buff guarantee. So. Can't do that yet. We don't have access to butterfly dust. We're not hard mode. But you can also craft a bee emanation, so you can use that to summon. So once you've built an arena that you can fight in effectively, and I would normally recommend like 3 or 4 layers of... I mean, let's be fair, Rince. That's... What's this? The giant eldritch abomination? My grenade full of bees will take care of this. I mean, yes. Bees! If they're good enough for Nicolas Cage and they're good enough for Oprah Winfrey, weaponized bees, I think, is good enough for everything. I think actually Bard was considering figuring out some way to do a bee-based druid caster for the tabletop game. Yep, that is correct, Dogface. So one thing to note, by the way, about LiveSpace is that it doesn't necessarily sort you based on viewership like Twitch. They're working on some additional discovery stuff on the back end, but yeah, it's pretty good. I don't dislike it. I don't dislike it. Anyway, we could do this a couple more times, or we could just bring some bottles here and get some honey. And there's that. But we got the bee done. That's the wrong button. That's the right button. Let's see. Get rid of all that stuff. We're going to sell the stuff that we don't need. That's garbage. And we'll put away the rest. I'm just going to stick the bee further out. Alright, let's see. Furniture. And we go over here to the lore chest, and we put the lore away. We'll go back through that later. Bee Pants Vanity, no one cares. Bee Nades are a ranged weapon. And we've got the bee gun, which is magic. And we've got this. And that's a rogue weapon. I might experiment with that off stream. I'm undecided. Then this should go in tools, but I'm out of space. I'm out of space in tools. Get rid of these. Because it doesn't matter. We have them for sale. And then we'll just place these temporarily in here in armor until I can figure out a way to do another chest here for accessories that doesn't look like garbage butt, because it already looks like garbage butt enough as it is. I don't want to accelerate the garbage buttness. It will happen. But I can sit here and lie to myself about it meanwhile. Nope, we're still doing Space Engineers on Wednesday mornings over on the YouTube side. Over on the YouTube side on Wednesday mornings at 10 a.m. Eastern. That's when we're still doing that. I was going to do Deep Rock today, because they got a shark hat, which, you know, it's not something we're really unknown for on this channel. But it would heat up the office way too much because it is too damn hot out today, and we might end up ending stream a little bit early anyway. Because if it gets too warm, I don't want to get entirely too hot. But there's that. Yeah, the nice advantage about YouTube is that it has archival that doesn't disappear after, 30 days. Or 90 if you're lucky and grandfathered in still under the old system. Because otherwise it's 60 if you're a Prime member. The lanterns, because we killed a boss. And for something like the areas that were see-through playthrough, I wanted to kind of keep that around for a while. I'm working on doing some stuff for like an archival channel that's separate, but I haven't done that yet, so we'll see how that goes. Hello, hello, welcome in, Rex Jog. Alright, so Skeletron's the next guy. I feel like I'm gonna die to Skeletron. Like I have a feeling. It's going pretty good. We definitely need to set up an arena for this one. Because I'm not doing Skeletron without an arena. That's a level of hubris even I will not engage with. Yeah, but they're inaccessible. Alright, and that's the thing. Like, So, my daughter really likes watching my old streams. It's like something she does because it's comforting to her. This is my first Calamity playthrough. As I've done a lot of things. I know I'm missing a lot of things still. But this is my first one, and I'm largely avoiding, other than like making sure I'm not goofing up some mechanic, largely avoiding the endless reading through the wiki that I would normally do for such a thing. Yeah, I'm unwilling to attempt a death mode playthrough. Unwilling to. we did a vanilla master mode one last time. And that was getting a little bit much. Yeah. So anyway, like I was saying, my daughter likes watching my old streams, and so the whole, hey, is there any way I can go back and watch this stream of this game you did before? there's not really a way to fix that with Twitch unless you're downloading and then archiving the videos every time. Whereas YouTube, they stick around for forever. And yeah. So I need to work on setting up some sort of archival thing for the Twitch streams over to YouTube, just on an archival channel. But I don't have it done yet. So yep. So I mean, like, at the end of the day, it'd be nice if... Alright, I can't hang to things anymore. I'm not using the climbing accessory anymore. It'd be nice if we could not have to worry about that, but they'll eventually expand things again. It's just, in the meanwhile, I need something else. And so for things that are more story-driven, like, there's some stuff I've done in the past that I regret not pulling off, and it was at a point in time where I wasn't able to financially justify Twitch Prime, and so before I could get all the streams off, they got wiped. And I know they're still somewhere in Twitch's servers. I can't pull them, right? Because Twitch doesn't delete things. That's the goofy thing. There, as we saw during the big DMCA panic, was it last year, year before last, where people were getting DMCA'd for things that they had deleted, but was being accessible to certain bots anyway, or stuff that Twitch said, yeah, this is gone, but they were able to pull it, like... Yeah. And, like, yeah, you can do things like go back afterwards and, like, manually highlight the entire stream so it sticks it around, but, like, I'm waiting for Twitch to blow that up. It's just a matter of time. And at this point, honestly, like, my time is best spent focusing on things that can provide some evergreen content, because that's just a better way to do things in general. Just the ability to have somebody come back and be like, hey, I missed your thing, and be able to go back and watch it later at their leisure is nice. Like, it's kind of against the whole Twitch ecosystem, right? Because the whole thing is kind of doing it live, which has a lot of value. But at the end of the day, there's also... Yeah. At the end of the day, there's also a whole bunch of stuff that's like, sometimes I want a little bit of both. You know? So, like, in those scenarios, they could be really useful. Now, that said, without going into too many spoilers, Rex Job, does Rogue hold up into the endgame for Calamity? Like, is it still functional past Moonlord? Or am I going to end up respecking around then? And yes, you were 100% correct there. It's absolutely... I mean, we know from the data breach that Twitch pays full price for AWS video services. They don't get a discount for being part of the same organization or being a sub-company, and they are hemorrhaging money as a result. Kick pays less money for the exact same AWS video service infrastructure that Twitch runs on, that is Twitch, than Twitch themselves pay to Amazon, which is hilarious. Like, it's cheaper for me as a private individual to go through and stand up some video delivery stuff using the exact same stuff that Twitch runs on than Twitch themselves pays for that. And that's just... that's some hella backwards stuff. Oh, absolutely, you gotta lose some money to make money. And Amazon's king at that, because it's all about the taxes, right? Like, once you're the size of these companies, it's not about did you make profit, because you made profit. It's about how do you make it look like you didn't make any profit at all for tax purposes, right? It's a lesser version of the same stuff that Hollywood does with movies. Yeah, I don't stream on Kick for a couple of reasons, and the TOS is one of those reasons. Like, I get it. Twitch's isn't that much better. but I'm already here. So that's why I'm kind of hoping that LiveSpace, something comes of it, even if not from LiveSpace itself, right? Just what it represents and what it offers. It'd be really nice. We lose money on every sale, but we make up for it with volume. Man, that reminds me, who was it? Somebody did an old, like the 2008 or 9 webcomic about that and potion sales. If it costs you 13 gold to make a potion, and you sell it for 7 gold, you're at a 6 gold loss. Doesn't matter how many you sell, you're at a 6 gold loss per. Yeah, Twitch is the cliff we're already on. Exactly. Yeah, man. I wonder if this scales. Does the rover drive scale? Oh, it does. Oh, but it requires Astral Bar, so it's way on. But that's interesting. I'm seriously out. I am. I'm going to go chop down some trees and get some more wood here soon. I think this is probably going to be good enough. I'm kind of concerned about the fact that cysts could spawn and just get clocked during the fight, because that's a potential concern. Yeah, it's going to be the battle area. This seed spawned the dungeon in the Crimson. Like, we got Crimson there, we got Crimson here. We got Crimson here. We got so much Crimson in the seed. I'm just like, guys, no. I mean, I prefer the Crimson over the Corruption, but so much of it. And it's that way even without mods. I tried it even without mods. Alright. This should be long enough. These are far enough away that I can easily transition between the two of them if I need to. We'll use this to test our Skeletron fight. We'll see how it goes. We gotta wait till nighttime. And I've never done this. Like, this is again first Calamity playthrough, first time playing Rogue was today. I started fiddling with it some last night, but I haven't figured it out yet. Alright, let's see. Let's sell some stuff. Don't need that, don't need that, don't need that. Hold on to these for now. Don't need that. Put this away, put this away. Move this back up here, put this away. And since we're waiting on nightfall, this is a good point in time. Take a quick intermission. We'll just leave it running. So, it'll hopefully be nighttime by the time, or close to it by the time we get back. But a couple minutes. Stand up, stretch, refresh your beverage, drink water, use the bathroom. We'll be right back.
unmute myself, and then cat time. Cat time. He's been in the mood today. I mean, he is a large cat. I am a large man. I'm 6'2". He's this big. If he stands up on his hind legs, he can see what is on top of my desk surface. And the sit-stand desk is set at 30 inches. Okay, yeah. Yeah, you got a claw stuck at me. There you go. I feel like it's going to be oil time for you later. I can tell that it's very warm out because his hip arthritis acts up. Not entirely unlike mine when it gets really warm outside. And you can't hear this, but he is giving purrs loud enough that I can hear them over the noise canceling in my monitors. The mic cuts that because of the filters, but yeah, we're gonna get you some oil later. Okay. No, that's not how you get out of my shirt. How did you get stuck? There we go. Oh, because you managed to get a claw in between the stitch at the seam. That's how you got stuck. Okay. There's nothing there. He's licking the desk. He's like, no, there was a treat there, I know. I know there was a treat there. I can smell the essence. The ghost of the cat treat is left behind. All right, would you like down now? No, you can't have the cheese stick. The cheese stick is mine. Okay. Yeah, I can tell it's a bad arthritis day for him, because if I poke at the back of the joint for his right rear hip, he makes disgruntled meowings. And then he doesn't want to jump down off the desk himself. Yeah, no, there's nothing else for you there. All right, so back to the game. I'm going to eat my cheese stick. Oh, wait, it's nighttime. Cheese stick will have to wait. time to go punch Skeletron in the face. We're gonna, first off... 1, 2... Let's see how this works. Battle my captor and free me, I beg you. Blop. We're not even gonna bother with the rogue stealth mechanic for this. We're just gonna punch him a whole bunch. We got... What's he stuck on? The hands are stuck on something. I'm gonna take advantage of that. Yep. Ate that hit. I feel like his hand's bugged out. I'm going to freely abuse that, though. There we go. And now the defense is way down. The skulls! Now we run. We're just going to kite him into our attacks. Messed up that transition because I'm bad. Pop heals as often as we can. If we always are at high health, he can't magically McMurder us. Here we go. The first Dryad's Vines... Oh, I'm in the wrong screen. Yeah. Sorry, I was so focused, I was not... wasn't paying attention to that. The first Dryad's Vines deem you worthy of their abyssal treasures. So does that mean the abyss isn't going to kick our ass now? Is that what that means? Or does it just mean there's drops now for it? I don't actually know the answer to that. Anyway, we've rescued the old man, the old clothier, from his eternal curse as the dungeon guardian. I don't know if Calamity actually addresses why he's the guardian in the first place. But, that does mean that we can now go into the dungeon and not get mega murdered by the Skeletrons, which, Calamity makes a whole bunch more of them spawn. So. And here's where things start getting interesting on the lead up to the... Grab that. Lead up to the Wall of Flesh fight. Gonna grab all the books. We're gonna look for spell books just in case we decide we need them later, or they're crafting components. I did see earlier in the recipe helper that there were some books that were some spells that were needed to craft later hardmode ones. So we'll see how that goes. We're gonna harvest all the books. We're just gonna light things up. We're gonna take... There's a perforator cistern nearby again. I do have concerns that because the Crimson is so around us that it might be hard to get dungeon spawns. I don't know if that's actually going to be a problem. I mean, worst case, it means we just go down deeper and deeper. I don't remember if it does or not, it's the problem. Because, like, there's still a bunch of stuff that's spawning out there. Like, I don't expect that we're going to see, like, Crimson monsters, mobs, blah, 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 spawning inside the dungeon. But that doesn't mean that we might not get dungeon spawns. Maybe. That might be. It's the second woman statue we have. That's cool. We can use those to conjure NPCs from different places directly to it. We're just gonna chop these off. We've got a pickaxe that can do it. These spikes do a lot of damage. Okay, so we're getting some spawns. It's the slime. I don't have any keys. I need the dungeon slimes to spawn so we can get keys off them. You know, let's take a quick look at what we did pick up here. Does it explain? Ah, cursed by an old cult. Okay. We'll get back to this later. Angry Bones. Yeah, we need gold keys in order to be able to do anything there, and we don't have any. So it's a shame that the slime has spawned, but let's see. Let's break that. So many traps. There's 3 separate switches there, but I only see two traps lit up by my potions. So I don't know what that third one is. So that's slightly concerning. Ah, bound mechanic. Yes. There we go. Oh, here we go. Bewitching or an alchemy table. That's exactly what we wanted. We are running a mod that adds additional biome chests. So we should be getting like 2 of each. I don't know that it's going to be... We're going to end up in a scenario where we need more than one. But I figured it would be better to have more than one just in case we needed it for like a crafting material or something. But there we go. Is the old shaking chest... The old shaking chest moved. Okay. I gotta come back in here and light this place up. Let's drop those, let's drop that, let's drop this, let's drop this. And we don't need yet more of these, and there we go. And then we unlock it. Now we have Spruce. Glug Glug, the old slime. Yeah, definitely got to come back in here and light this place up. There's a slime chest or a slime statue over there hooked up to a pressure plate. So it's just going to spawn a whole bunch of them. Angry Bones. If we can get some bones, that'd be good. There's a bunch of stuff that I was looking to use that required bones, especially from an upgrade perspective. Edgar the Clothier's arrived. That's good. The old man has respawned. Oh, let me down. Trigger the trap anyway. And the bewitching table. Sweet, those are the 2 things I was looking for primarily. Let's get on. Alright, let me see. I had a spot. I was going to put these. The alchemy table one's easy, because it just replaces this. Jinx the Bandit's arrived. Cool. He's got rogue stuff. We got the clothier as well. He's probably over in the jungle, I imagine. And then the bewitching station, I was going to put... Oh, I put this in the wrong spot. Okay. This goes here, And then this goes here. Witching table's needed for some crafting. The biggest thing it does is it gives you an extra minion slot. Which is good. You want that. That's the thing everybody wants. I put placeholder torches back here for I forget what I was doing with this. Okay, so let's just hit quick stack. What happens? There we go. We got bones. We got spikes. Spikes go over here in the block section. Same thing with the water candles. Put the Skeletron rod through as well. Consumes bone to place bone. We'll place that there. We got one key left. We got some books that are material. We got some lore. We got some bones that are material. This is getting sold. This gets put away downstairs. So many things you can make with bones. That's right, we need them for the Void Vault too. Okay, we got things. There's so many things. Oh, the Traveler's Hood. Yes. Bone seeds to grow more bones with. We're gonna start with that. Maybe. We don't have enough clay to do that with, so there's no point. That's fine. We'll leave that way. Actually, hey look, I fixed that problem. We definitely don't need more tin ore right now. So, seeds. We'll make some bone seeds. We'll plant the bone seeds. It's a whole new meaning to bone meal. I'm just harvesting things the old dumb way rather than the way that actually gets us bonus results out of them. So of course I am. Why wouldn't I be? Statues. Put that away. Lore. Put this away. The wooden arrow gets sold. Put these... Oh, crap. Cheese stick. Okay. We got the warding bone glove, which is cool. Shoots bones while you're attacking. And the Skeletron mask. I kind of like that. Like, yes, I lose my glorious flowing hair that even shows on the minimap when I run around. But also, like, a skeletal merman. I kind of like that. Let's go make some ink. Some black dye. There we go. Do I like that, though? I mean, it's there. I kind of like the red better. I lied, I like the pink the best. Plus it also matches the fact that confetti just flies out of the head. Right, because I've got the party hair dye on, so just confetti's constantly leaking from my head. At which point... Oh, that's simply terrifying. It is I, the Death Salmon. Accompanied by Danny DeVito on a flying credit card. Alright. Refund, what is this? Oh, do we get money back from reforging things? That's cool. I like that. Fuck the goblin. Alright, glaive. Let's experiment with that. Increases luck by 20%? Damn. That's not a small luck increase. You can buy climbing gear if you didn't already have it, invisibility potions, night owl potions, bear's eye, summons a pet guardian angel for almost 4 plat. That's a lot of money, my guy. Is it going to be better than Danny DeVito? That's not a bear. Is Bear the cat's name? That might replace Danny DeVito. Can it fly? It can fly. Oh, look how cute it is when it's flying! It's got its paws! Okay, no, sorry. Sorry, Danny. It's a black cat. Can't compete. Put you here in the cosmetics bin. Okay. Yeah, the flying cat's amazing. Okay, so we bought the things that I think we might want to... We got the glaive. We got the Kylie. What is luck effect? Like, I mean, that's not a small luck boost. We've already got plus 23% from everything else. I mean, it would effectively double our luck bonus, but... Impact. Item drops. Luck of the player closest to the defeated enemy is used for the calculation, so I don't care. Because unless I'm playing solo, it will probably not be me. Because bosses have a tendency to folk... Bosses, before I picked a class that got stealth bonuses to aggro, primaried rinse no matter what. So, like, I'm not going to be close enough for that to matter unless I'm playing solo. Things like crates and oysters aren't affected, so just drops. NPCs spawning like golden animals. Oh, enemies spawning on the wrong wall type for rare spawns in a hard mode dungeon, that does affect it. Okay, so maybe. Items being available for sale in the traveling merchant. I thought they changed that. Random luck bonuses while fishing. We've got enough fishing accessories. I'm not concerned about that. It gives us very slight weighting to whether or not it rolls to the higher side of damage or not. Dodging's not affected. Ammo conservation's not affected. Event occurrences aren't affected. Fishing catches besides just the power effect, which all that determines is whether or not what you can catch, not what you do catch. Yeah, I don't feel like that's worth burning. Was there a periscope there for a second, or was it just image relics? I don't. The lack of timestamps in chat makes it hard to figure out what's going on. Yeah, I don't feel like the die is worth it. Like, maybe if we added yet more accessory slots, that'd be worth, but like... Okay, so let's take a look at these things here. So this is the glaive. It's stock. Okay, so the first one, super fast, and oh, an infinite pierce. Okay, that's kind of cool. I mean, that is a damage increase for sure. Okay. Throws 3 shorter range instead of a single long range one. Definitely not a damage upgrade. Can this be used to craft anything fun? Not until we're in hard mode. Yes, in hard mode, and that's actually really easy to get. So this replaces the sand dollar. Sand dollar has nothing else to craft, so we'll put these 2 things away. The bone glove has no upgrades, it just shoots bones, so we'll put that away as well, because that's not going to be really helpful to us. Rogue weapons, and then armor, even though it's not armor, just put it there because it's armor. Alright, that's not bad. Let's take a look here. What could drop that hasn't dropped yet? The flamethrower. Which, yeah, the Skeletron hand, the Book of Skulls. This is all stuff that could be neat to have, but isn't really critical things. And then if we go back in here, because I'm not bad. Deerclops, the Slime God, and then so we got 2 more bosses before Wall of Flesh. We're not triggering Wall of Flesh right away, though, because if we fight Wall of Flesh and I win, what that means is that the world immediately goes into hard mode and everything gets a lot harder. So there's some stuff to do to prep for that still. Technically the Torch God's been done, but not here, but it's been done. We're gonna mark it as done, because we've done it. And Deerclops is the next one. So that's the snow boss. Spawns in a snow biome during a blizzard, or we can make it using a deer thing, which just requires ore, flinx fur, and lenses. We have a lot of flinx fur. We have 26 of it because of my earlier escapades underground. So, these potions. Alright, let's go back to the dungeon. I'm sorry, is the slime living down here? Okay, no, he's teleported down. Let's light this stuff up as we go this time. Bones. And then we'll figure out what we're going to craft with the bones after that. Alright, so biome chest, gold chest, handgun, the bone welder. Cool, that's something we needed from a crafting station perspective, not necessarily because we wanted to craft anything with it, but but the option to craft with it would be nice. And we need to kill more slimes to get more keys. We're just going to smash up all these spikes as we go. Because the spikes do a lot more damage in hard mode. And they already annoy me as it is. So. Take all these water candles. Because one, they're useful for building arenas, and two, we don't necessarily want the massively increased spawn rates inside here anymore. There's a skull staring at me. Increased spawn rate can be useful later, but for right now we want to make sure that we can control it instead. There we go, there's another gold key. Cobalt shield is great. Need that for crafting. So let's go. Break the spikes. Water candles, by the way, are these blue candles, and they increase spawn rates of mobs in the area. So that's part of what makes the dungeon so dangerous early on, is the sheer volume of spawns you can get caught up by. The guy read the time wrong and is now on his way. Oh no, Rince. So you've been sitting here waiting for them to show up for hours now. Oh. See? Should have been playing games. Also, that sucks. Oh no, my plan was to go to the store so I had food to get lunch after this. You've been sitting here waiting for them to show up all day now. That doesn't reflect on them very well as a contractor. Just saying. You didn't find these guys through Home Depot, did you? Is this going to be another repeat of the Windows incident? Oh, okay. So this is somebody you have a history with. Okay. It's not somebody brand new. I'm just thinking of the issues you've had in the past. So we don't need these. We don't need these. Don't need that. Don't need this. Yeah, exactly. Tell them to pick up lunch for you on the way to your house. Well, you know, I hope they get there soon then. Oh, cool. We got a shadow key. Maybe we can open with that already. That's outside the dungeon.
Like, I understand, right? So, like, don't get me wrong. I understand, like, there's limits to promising showing up to work on something, because there's a whole lot of things that can impact that, even outside of stuff like traffic, right? But also, it's incredibly frustrating. Like, it's a bad scenario on both ends to be stuck in. I'm sorry, what was that item name? Furious stack of necrosteocytes. Summon small skeletons to fight for you. They leave behind bone cells as they move? Yeah, like call the client, right? Oh, the tally counter. All right, we're about to free up so much damn space. It gives us the REK. It gives us the PDA. It gives us the cell phone. We want this one. And then the cell phone. So many tally counters. Where did my cell phone go? I just crafted it. Where did it go? Hello. Oh, there it is. To make the shell phone, I need the magic conch and the demon conch. I got the demon conch. I don't have this yet. What drops this? This is a fishing reward? This is a fishing reward, isn't it? Angler! Still. It's a step in the right direction. And then... Crap, there's something else. Alright, now we have to get another chest out. Okay. Talent counters go there. Cobalt shields. Life alloy, don't have that yet. Combine with the obsidian shield. The obsidian shield is used to make the Ankh shield, which needs the Ankh charm. The Ankh charm I don't have yet because it needs... What am I missing off this? I've got the medicated bandage. The armor, I need the polish and the vitamins. I feel like I have some of these somewhere. Because some of these have recipes now and some of them don't. None of them are in here. So the armor polish drops from the armored skeletons, the vitamins. I can get them from things, but we can also craft them. Ah, that's what I was also waiting to craft that. And the armor polish can also be crafted with bones as part of what we need bones for. Alright, let's start churning some of this stuff out. Let's clean up our inventory first. Correction. Clean up your inventory first. So let's do that. Need that. Let's put this in the melee chest. Aquaceptor. It's got a crap thing, but we can work on that. This we need to take a look at. This goes in the blocks chest. The handgun has some things, but I'm not playing ranged anymore, so I don't care. So it goes in the chest. The bone welder. Crap. Close my image. I didn't expect to get the bone welder that fast. Bone welder I was sticking down here next to the keg. That's where I was putting that. There we go. Yeah. Alright, what else?
This needs to get sold. And, you know what? We need to change this up because we don't want the clothier hanging around in the forest. We want the witch doctor in the forest. Because the witch doctor sells bonus things in the forest. Or the jungle, rather. But we'll talk to Edgar. Thanks again for freeing me from my curse. Felt like something jumped up and bit me. Threads, hats, counter scarf. That's kind of cool. It's used to make the evasion scarf, which gives boosted melee damage. It's also a hard light thing. That's kind of neat. Not really helpful. See, the bot is taking its revenge from me killing Skeletron. All is still right with the world. Look, Dogface and Flout both really want to be at 0 points as often as possible. That's what it comes down to. Yes. Okay. Because he's still here. Grants immunity to poison, confusion, electrified at one fire, and broken armor. Yes, we will absolutely buy that. That's great. I have enough badge points to run that right now. Oh, wait, that didn't go in the right slot. There we go. Overlapping sockets. So there's that. He sells the boomstick, which is good, because that's used to make a lot of different weapons, thanks to the fish guns mod. So water fountain, sunken water fountains, wormhole potions, a bunch of other fountains. Blowgun, the imbuing station. We want the imbuing station. Where was I going to put the imbuing station? I was going to stick it... Oh wait, no, that was supposed to go here. The witching station goes somewhere else. We'll put that down here. Get most of the buffs in the same spot. Anyway, Extractinator is going to go elsewhere now. Extractinator is going to go down here. We're going to stick the Extractinator with our special decoder that doesn't have the right decryption computer pieces installed on it. Yet. Let's harvest some stuff here. Do that. Bone seeds. Yes, bones. Got more bone seeds. Slime is falling from the sky. Really? Really, Slime King? You gotta be like this? Jackass. Anyway. What was I working on? This. Cobalt Shield. Shield of the Higher. What makes life alloy? How do we get that? Scoria bar, perennial. Yeah, that's a whole bunch of stuff we don't have. We'll get another Cobalt Shield for that later. That's pretty cool. Immune to most debuffs. Gives you a bonk. Anyway, we can actually craft these with Cobalt too, so it's not that big a deal. So let's start off by doing some crafting. So we need to go Obsidian Skull. That gives us that. The Obsidian Shield can be used to craft the Ankh Shield with the Ankh Charm. Ankh Charm needs a whole bunch of things. We've got the Medicated Bandage. We need the Armor Bracing next, so let's do that next. That requires the Armor Polish, which requires bones and ancient bones. And it also requires vitamins. Vitamins require bottled water, water leaf, blinkroot, daybloom, and beetle juice. So we're going to fill a bottle with water. And then we open plants. There's that. Now we can make the armor bracing. Get out of here, King Slime. Nobody likes you. You're literally the first boss in the game. You're just annoying. Nobody likes him. But yeah, this is the royal gel dog face is the thing that makes slimes become friendly. We're just gonna sell all this stuff because nobody likes the King Slime. King Slime is an asshole. He never shows up when you want him to, and he always shows up when you don't want him to. I'm sure we can buy the safe now because we have the. Is there? Did I have something in here for putting down the safe? I don't think I did. Oh, I did that wrong. Nobody saw that. Anyway, more storage. Which is great. Let's pull all the potions out of here, and I'll put those in the safe. Because the safe can't easily be accessed while on the go. The piggy bank can, because I have the pig trough. So that means that something like putting my... I don't ever take these out, I only ever use these as permanent buffs things. Safe's the perfect place for them, because I still get the benefit. And now my piggy bank has room in it. Yes. Okay, so, where was I going? Back with this. Obsidian Skull, Ankh Charm, we have the vitamins, we have the armor bracing, which is what we needed. Yeah. Next thing we need for this is the plan. Alright, the plan. Plan requires the fast clock and the trifold map. Fast clock is a hard mode drop or a hard mode craft, so we can't do anything with that yet. Same thing with the trifold map. They both require souls. Souls come from the mechanical bosses in hard mode. So we can't do the plan yet. We do the counter curse mantra. It requires the megaphone, which we do have somewhere, and a Nazar. Megaphone. Nazar we don't have yet. Comes from the dungeon. Curse skulls. That's all hard mode stuff. Can we craft it? Nope. It requires souls. So we can't do anything there. It's also used to make a gun. And the reflective shades, I'm pretty sure we can't make these. Blindfold is a hard mode drop. Oh, maybe not. No, it's not. Ooh. We need a lot more silk. We need 30 silk for that. No, it does not make the King Slime friendly, unfortunately. The King Slime is not... Bosses in general aren't affected by these kinds of things. Blindfold. And we also need the pocket mirror. Pocket mirror requires souls. So we are missing 3 items. 3 items for the Ankh Charm. The plan requires 2 hard mode items, and each of their others require 2 individual hard mode pieces. So we'll put these in here for now, along with the obsidian shield, because the only debuff that I'm not protected by right now, thanks to potions, is Mighty Wind. And that's because I was previously protected by that through my armor. That's where we're going to leave that set. Now let's take a look at this. Furious stack of necrosteocytes. Osteocytes? Necrosteocytes? It's a fake word. We'll see. Necrosteocytes. What does this do? 36 summon damage. So it does more summon damage, a considerable amount more than my herring staff does. Drops this. Oh, Dark Casters drop it. Okay. It can be used... Oh, that's cool. If we fight the Slime God. So the Imp Staff we can craft. The Belladonna Spirit Staff we have in storage. The Vile Feeder we can make if we don't already have one. So, Rinse, you could get a really solid summon once we fight the Slime God. Which is still pretty hard mode. So that's cool using the staff. And then that can... Oh, there's two. Okay, so there's the Eye of Night, which uses the Corruption summon. 28 summon damage. Summons a diseased fireball that fires cells which attach to enemies. So it's a DOT thing. Or the Flesh of Infidelity, which uses the Scab Ripper instead from the Corruption which you have. Summons a tentacled ball of flesh that splashes blood onto enemies. Huh. That's cool. What do these guys look like? That's amazing. They just run around and jump. And the thing they drop just does constant damage. That's good. And they fly. They can't fly. Can they climb up? Can they scale background walls? Like the spiders? It doesn't look like it. But that's hilarious. And of course it can be used to make a much stronger summon. So, because we've got... out of the 4 staffs we need, we've got 1, 2, 3 of them already. The only one we don't have is the Imp Staff, and that's craftable. We have the Hellstone for that. So really the only thing that's missing is the Purified Gel, which comes as a drop from the Slime God. It makes a whole new tier of stuff. Like, that's going to be... I'm going to be swapping out my armor at that point, too, because the Rogue armor bonus... let's see... Status Gel... The Mask. I mean, that's huge, huge buffs. 77% increased crit strike and 5% increased movement speed. 10% increased rogue damage. Plus, oh, and the hood gives minion knockback. That's cool. Plus 5% damage and movement speed. Plus 5% crit strike chance. Combined with everything else. Like, that's... And then the set bonus. No clue what the set bonus is. But, I mean, it can't be bad, right? It's better than the current set bonus I have, which just makes things explode around me. So. But that's cool. I like that. That's neat. Okay, let's get rid of the small skeletons. A small skeleton is observing you. Well, that's not creepy as shit. Let's see, what else can we use the bones for? So many things. Ranged armor. We can make shadow keys with them. That's cool. A lot of furniture stuff. We could do the Void Vault or the Void Bag. So again, this is another storage thing. This one's accessible remotely, unlike the safe. So we do that. It requires some tissue samples. 45 tissue samples. Do we have 45 tissue samples? We do not. I'll have to go kill the brain of Cthulhu again. There's a new whip for summoners. There's, what else is there? There's... Oh, we could do that. I could do that right now. Stealth generates faster, so that's not a bad thing for me to have as a rogue. And this can be crafted into the Abyssal Mirror using Luminal's a hard mode thing. Never mind. Can't do anything with that yet. It's a whole bunch of pianos, a whole bunch of organs. Let's see. Hadal Urn fires a random assortment of ocean creatures. It's a magic weapon. There's that. There's the enchanted axe. There's a high velocity axe that returns to you after traveling a short distance or hitting a wall. That's cool. At the furthest point, a magical axe that travels through walls will be cast towards the nearest enemy. So if I don't bounce it off walls, I get extra axes. And the stealth just improves that. That's cool. It's kind of Thor-ish. There's another scythe. Some guns. Okay. I think that's all I need to craft right now off that stuff. Besides the storage stuff, which will... I gotta go kill a boss for it. But we also have the Shadow Key. I've got... something in here. Where is it? There it is. Obsidian Lockbox. Oh, the Helping Bow. That's cool. That's a good ranged weapon. I can now take the Shadow Key and use it to do so many things. So many things. Because there's a whole bunch of chests down here in Hell that can only be opened by Shadow Keys. So that's neat. So I need to go finish exploring the dungeon and lighting it up. Need to check it for additional gear that can farm. Need to go check the shadow chest down here and hopefully not spawn the Wall of Flesh because I've died 19 times to it, accidentally conjuring it so far. Because the way you summon it is you kill a demon carrying around a voodoo doll, and the voodoo doll falls in the lava, and then the lava kills the guide, which summons the Wall of Flesh. Because, spoilers, the guide is an existential terror, which is why he knows everything there is to know about crafting. He is an endlessly, infinitely old eldritch being that just assumes human form. And then I get to look around the abyss, because it said when we killed Skeletron, the druid, or the dryad, was fine with us getting access to things in the abyss again. I'm gonna move away. Cool. Witch Doctor is now in the jungle. Sweet House sells the Pygmy Necklace. So increase max number of minions by 1, which can be upgraded as a whole bunch of other stuff into Status's Blessing eventually, which is also really good. I think, see, was it Status Curse? One of the status items is good for rogues. Stardust Fragments. Void Sash? No. Ninja Belt? No. Alright, I'll look into it later. There's something that somebody mentioned previously, was a status thing, that was really good for rogues, and I honestly don't know what it was now. But it is getting close to end of stream time, so I think we're going to wrap up here for today. And I think we're going to go raid Momo, because Momo's live. Let me double check that. Momo was live. She's doing a fundraiser thing, and she was live. So let me check and see if she actually is. Because if she is, we're going to go raid her. She is still live. She's playing Stardew Valley. It's her first time playing through the game. And she's doing a charity stream for Lambda Legal. So we did fundraising for them back in May. If y'all remember, they're the U.S.'s oldest pro-LGBTQIA+ legal organization there is. They had their 50th anniversary this year.
They're currently fighting all the various bullshit laws going in against the trans community, against the gay community, against everybody else, and a lot of states here in the U.S. Yeah, and the fundraiser. So, we're going to go right on her. We'll be back again. Back again on Wednesday morning over on YouTube, 10 a.m., and of course LiveSpace as well. Again, with more space engineers for more areas at war stuff. We'll be back again to Wednesday night, probably for more Terraria. Because I can't imagine we won't either be killing Wall of Flesh then, so we should be ready, or killing Wall of Flesh anyway just because. So, hope to see y'all there. When we go over there, y'all go give Momo some love. Spam some emotes. Doesn't matter whose they are. Well, no, I take that back. It probably matters whose they are. Don't spam shitty emotes. But otherwise, we'll be back. Hope to see you there. Exclamation mark Discord if you're not part of the Discord and want to be part of the Discord. Or there's a link down below in the About page. Same thing over on LiveSpace because you don't have access to commands yet. It'll be in my About panel. There's a link there to it. Hope to see y'all there. Hope to see y'all next week. Y'all stay safe, stay cool, and stay goose.